Hello everyone, my name is Draconic Celestial, and today we will be going over the Danganronpa franchise. With the upcoming release of Danganronpa 2x2, this is the best time to get into the series. I'll be going over the order to play the games, watch the shows, a quick beginner's guide on how to play the games, and go over the additional content such as spin-off games and manga. I'll make sure not to spoil any culprits or victims in this video. With all that out of the way, let's get started. Danganronpa Trigger Happy Havoc, the game that started it all. You play as Makoto Naegi. He recently won a lottery to attend Hope's Peak Academy, making his special talent being lucky. Hope's Peak Academy is a prestigious school for high schoolers with special talents, also known as ultimates. These ultimate abilities include things such as fortune-telling, baseball, gambling, singing, fanfiction, etc. After walking in to attend your first day at school, you immediately black out and wake up in a classroom. After some tutorial investigating, you find out that you were kidnapped by a plush bear named Monokuma. The only way for you to leave is to either kill someone without getting caught, or figure out a way out on your own. However, Monokuma much prefers that everyone gets to killing each other as soon as possible. Then, the game begins. Trigger Happy Havoc, as well as the games that follow, are visual novel point-and-click mystery games. If you are a big fan of plot over gameplay like I am, you are going to love these games. If not, be prepared for a lot of reading. A good chunk of the game is voice acted, but a lot of it is not. You're going to want to pay attention to the dialogue because it's a mystery game and you have murders to solve. If purple dialogue appears, you can click on it to learn more about what the character is saying. During the day, you will be participating in school life. When you aren't solving murders, you will be able to choose to hang out with whatever classmates are still alive. You can level up friendships and learn more about them. If you aren't able to befriend everyone in a single playthrough, don't stress. There's an extra mode you unlock after you beat the game that lets you do all the free time events. You can also give the characters gifts that you buy from a shop. You get coins from investigating different areas, so make sure to click everything. Be careful though, because you can worsen a friendship if you give them a gift that they hate. So pay attention to each character and item before giving a gift. Once someone commits a murder, you will begin an investigation. This switches the game to deadly life. You will be finding clues at the crime scene and talking to other classmates about what they know. After you've gathered a good amount of evidence, you will begin a class trial.
During the trial, you'll have to present your arguments about who you think the blackened is. And once everything comes to an end, the outcome will be decided by popular vote. If the answer you've arrived at is correct, only the one that disturbed your peace will be punished. The rest may continue their communal life. However, if you choose poorly, then the one who got away with murder will survive, and the rest of you will receive your punishment. Which of course means your school life will come to an end. As far as class trial rules go, that's all there is to it.
Make sure you have plenty of time because you can really only save during major breaks in the trial. Classroom trials are the most unique gameplay feature in this game. It's similar to games like Ace Attorney. During school life and deadly life, you'll be gaining experience. When you level up or hang out with characters, you unlock new skills. Before you go, there are different skills you can equip to make the gameplay easier, so make sure to look through what you have before you start. Everyone will go around the circle, arguing a lot over what they think happened and who they think the killer is. Using what you know, you need to find the holes in their argument. You will be using truth bullets to shoot at pieces of yellow text. There's a focus button to help you you aim, but there's a focus bar that limits how long you can hold it. You'll also have to play weird minigames like Hangman to figure out key clues. There's also a rhythm argument minigame. These trials last a long time, so I guess they had to get creative to keep things interesting. Make sure to keep an eye on the hearts in the corner, because if you run out of those, it's game over, but you'll only need to retry from your last save or checkpoint. After you spend hours trying to argue with an entire room of idiots, you can pick who you think the culprit is. If you guess wrong, then everyone else dies and the blackened lives. Once the culprit is found, they get executed in very unique, creative ways. Once that's over, the cycle continues until you figure out how to escape this psychotic bear. The gameplay is the same throughout the trilogy, with new minigames or mechanics occasionally added. If this sounds fun, make sure to start with this game. Unlike series I've covered in the past, these games are very connected and require that you play them in a specific order to fully understand the plot. The game is available on all modern consoles, which you can buy on its own or in bundles that I'll go over after I finish covering the trilogy. It's also on mobile, PS Vita, and PSP.
Hey, can you hear me? Are you okay? You seem pretty out of it. To be honest, I'm also... No, everyone else feels the same too. Since we suddenly got put in this weird situation. Hey, are you listening?
Danganronpa 2 Goodbye Despair starts very differently from its predecessor. You will wake up and see Nagito Komaeda. You may recognize him from his relationship with Sans. Anyways, you are Hajime Hinata, and you wake up on an island. You have no memories, so you also have no idea what your ultimate talent is. A pink bunny plushie named Usami claims you are all there to be happy and make friends. Clearly this game is nothing but sunshine and rainbows. Yeah, no, it's Danganronpa, you're not allowed to be happy. Monokuma appears and now it's another killing game. There are some new features and upgrades. First off, you no longer just explore a small area in first person. You now have multiple islands to explore, so you get to witness the famous Hajime Run. If you take the time to walk rather than fast travel, you can level up a pet in your handbook. Make sure to check in often and take care of it, because it can die if you're not careful. The map also has some new features. You can now see where everyone is, thank God, because it's really annoying when you want to hang out with someone specific but cannot find them. You can also fast travel to different areas. If you see an exclamation mark, that means that going there will progress the story. The class trial plays pretty much exactly the same as the last game, but now you get to snowboard? Don't question it. Some people think normally, but Hajime imagines everything like he's playing Run 3 on Cool Math Games. Logic Dive will ask you questions, and you have to go to the sides with the correct answers while also not falling through holes. Hangman's Gambit returns in its 2.0 form. The letters will be flying across the screen, and you need the same letters to hit each other. The identical letters, after combining, can be put in the Hangman section. If different letters hit each other, you will take damage. There's also a new feature called Rebuttal Showdowns. Characters will argue with you, and you have to counter them. You counter them by cutting their words.
Allow me to cut through those words!
This is my personal opinion, so don't let this overhype the game for you, but it's my favorite in the trilogy. My favorite cast, my favorite storyline, I adore this game. Obviously, I'm not the only one who thinks this, because the game is getting a remake sequel. It's, I think, the most popular game in the franchise. It's getting the FF7 treatment with all the new content. I'm going to take this time to quickly mention Danganronpa 2x2, which comes out later this year. It will be a remake of the original, but a certain choice will allow you to play a completely new storyline with new victims and culprits. I cannot wait to see how it plays out. If this video does well, maybe I'll even stream the new game, so let me know if y'all want to see that. Back to the original, if you like Danganronpa 1, you will like the sequel. It's available on all the same systems that Trigger Happy Havoc was on. The third game of this trilogy is Danganronpa V3 Killing Harmony. If you're wondering why it's V3 and not just 3, that's because there's already a Danganronpa 3, but it's an anime instead of a game. I'll be going over that anime later, but keep that in mind because it's very important. You start the game by waking up in a classroom. Shocker, I know. Once again, you are stuck in a killing game at a school. This time you play as Kaede Akamatsu, the ultimate piano player. First female Danganronpa protagonist in a mainline game at least. Hopefully they don't fuck this up. After meeting the cast, you will be introduced to the killing game just like previous titles. The killing game is still run by Monokuma, but now he has 5 Mono Cubs. There's no good reason for this, but I hate these things so much. This game plays similar to the last two with new updates to class trials. First off, there's a minigame that you are introduced to early on where you and the entire class can try to escape the school. It's a 2D side-scroller platformer. It's difficult, but you can beat it. If you don't though, no pressure, the game expects you to fail. You can still retry it at any time later if you want. The class trial has the bulk of the new features. When blue text appears, you can now use bullets to agree with it rather than counter. Debates are still there, but now you can also get mass panic debates. This means multiple people will be talking over each other, making it harder to shoot your truth bullet at the correct statements. Hangman's Gambit returns in its 3.0 form. You have to use light now to find letters on top of spelling out the word. Mind Mine makes you remove colored blocks to reveal an illustration. Rather than snowboarding, Kaede drives a taxi. Psyche Taxi plays similarly to Logic Dive, but instead you're driving a taxi. For some reason. This game concludes the main trilogy of Danganronpa. It's available on all the same platforms except for PSP. The best version to get if you want all 3 games is Danganronpa Decadence. It comes with all 3 plus Danganronpa S Ultimate Summer Camp. You want to get the collection just for that, but if you want the trilogy, that's the best way to go. Ultra Despair Girls is the most well-known spin-off in the series. It's a third-person shooter, very wild choice compared to the rest of the games. The best time to play it is after beating Danganronpa 2. It takes place between Danganronpa 1 and 2, but it does have major spoilers for both games, so don't play it before you beat those 2. So, before we continue, spoilers for Danganronpa Trigger Happy Havoc. Skip this section if you have not played the first game. I won't be spoiling the second game, but I will for sure be spoiling the first game. I'll put a timestamp on the screen. You have been warned. Everyone gone? Okay, good. In this game, you play as Komaru Naegi, who should sound familiar because she is Makoto's sister. She has been trapped in her apartment for a year and a half until a Monokuma breaks down her door. She leaves to discover the aftermath of the tragedy. Toku Fukawa appears and gives her a hack gun. These will be your main characters for the game. You can switch between using the megaphone-shaped gun and playing as Genocide Jack. Genocide Jack can rampage for a limited amount of time before turning back into Toko. At the start of the game, you can choose 3 different modes. Genocide Jack mode makes her last longer and recharge faster. This makes the overall game easier. Komaru mode forces you to use her more, as Genocide Jack's battery does not recharge on its own anymore. This is the game's normal mode. Despair mode is the hard difficulty that limits everything by a lot. I won't be going in depth on gameplay because this is a beginner's guide and most people like to skip this section for the very big, obvious spoilers. Do I recommend this game? If you are a fan of the series or of these characters, then go for it. If you don't like shooters or are a more casual fan of the series, you can skip it. If you are going to play it, get it on sale. It's not terrible, but it's very different. Not to mention the story is,
I like him younger. As young as possible.
Actually, can I leave now?
If you were ever wondering where that audio came from, this is the game. Now, I don't know if this is true, but I have heard that the original bosses were going to be the remnants of Despair, but that was scrapped. Now it's a bunch of kids who hate adults. It's a weird game, but it is canon, so I'll leave it up to you if you want to play it. It's available on PS Vita, PC, PS4, and PS5, and unfortunately is not available in any of the collections. Kirigiri Sou is an interactive novel. It was included with the Japanese Blu-ray of the Danganronpa 3 anime. You can find fan translations and versions of the game online to see what it is. The novel mainly follows Kirigiri and some other new characters. I couldn't find a English translation game version of this. I could only find the documents with the translations written on them. If anyone knows how to actually play this game in English, please let me know in the comments below. I'd love to try it. Danganronpa S Ultimate Summer Camp is a virtual board game. It's an upgraded version of the Ultimate Talent Development Program from V3. The game is a peaceful beach event with no killing. It features over 60 characters across all the main games. There are 3 different game modes and many fun character interactions that are specific to this game. It's only available as part of the Decadence collection. If you already own the games, it's not worth buying the collection just for this. If you don't own the games or you're just a really big fan, it's a silly bonus thing that can be fun to play. Now that we've covered all of the major games, let's look into the anime. First off is the anime adaptation of the first game. The game is way better, but if you are new to the series and just want to see if it's something you would like before purchasing any of the games, the anime is not a terrible place to start. It's not quite as detailed and it can be kind of confusing without the full context, but it gives you the main plot points points and the vibe of the series. If you end up liking the anime, do try playing the full game afterward to see all the stuff that you missed. The next anime is the official sequel and prequel of the first two Danganronpa games. Danganronpa 3 covers what happened after the events of the first two games and the events leading up to those games. The watch order of these is kind of weird, so let me explain. You are going to want to start with the first episode of the Future arc. After you finish that episode, stop. You need to switch to the first episode of the Despair arc, and after you watch that episode, you switch back to the Future arc and watch episode 2, and then you watch episode 2 of the Despair arc, and then you go back and forth and back and forth. Essentially, you will be switching between the two arcs every episode. It sounds weird, but it's how it's meant to be watched. It will make complete sense once you actually try watching the show. Now, if you are looking for even more content, fear not. There is a lot more. There are at least 25 different manga that you can read through. The first collection is the Hope's Peak collection. There's a manga version of the first game and a version that is more similar to the anime. The anthology manga is just a collection of silly stories featuring the first game's cast. Danganronpa 2 is manga covering the game's events. There are also mangas that covered the game's events, but from Nagito and Chiaki's perspectives. There are also multiple manga covering comedic scenarios featuring the second game's cast. There are 3 mangas that use characters and feature events from Ultra Despair Girls. There are 2 anthology manga of silly events from Danganronpa 3. There are also 3 anthology comedic manga for V3. And a couple more manga covering spoilers I will not be talking about here. There are at least 7 light novels and short stories. Kirigiri is a light novel series covering her backstory. Togami is a series covering certain events featuring him. Danganronpa 0 is a prequel novel covering events from before the game. While not official, there's currently a fan game in development that covers all the events of this novel that you can check out. I think there's a demo, but it's not finished yet. Danganronpa If is an alternate storyline featuring a what-if scenario. Makoto Naegi's Secret File is a short story covering his enrollment in Hope's Peak Academy. Beautiful Days features the first 2 casts. It's a collection of short stories about their lives. Hakakuri covers some events that I won't talk about due to spoilers. There are 3 mobile games, but they were all only ever released in Japan and are also no longer available. None of them feature any important lore, and it's only like small, generic mobile gameplay, so I don't recommend looking into it unless you just want to know everything. There are also 3 stage play adaptations. These are adaptations of the first 2 games and the Danganronpa 3 anime. You can find these on YouTube if you want to see how these games translate to the stage. Now that I've covered everything the series has to offer, let's go over the best order to consume this content. You can just play the main 3 games, but if you want to know everything, here's how you do it. I found a play order online and I will be linking it in the description. It shows you the order with links, so check that out after the video for more info. I will go over the order as well, but I will try to keep it to only the canon content. First, start with Danganronpa Trigger Happy Havoc, or its anime adaptation, but I highly recommend the game over the anime. Then Danganronpa 2 Goodbye Despair. Then read the Danganronpa 0 novel, or the fan game if it's out. Danganronpa Ultra Despair Girls after that. The Ultra Despair Hagakure novel, the Kirigiri novels volumes 1 through 7, Kirigiri Sou, the interactive novel, Togami novel volumes 1 through 3, Kagami Family Saga novel, the Danganronpa rearranged drama CD, Gaiden Killer novel chapters, but only 1 through 11. Don't read after chapter 11. Then start watching Danganronpa 3, and as I've said before, you watch an episode of the Future arc, and then an episode of the Despair arc, and then the Future and Despair, and back and forth and back and forth. And then there's technically a Danganronpa 3 Hope arc, but that's just the final episode. Then you can read Danganronpa 2.5, Nagito Komaeda and the World Vanquisher. Finish reading Gaiden Killer Killer. Then you can play Danganronpa V3. Now you can look through literally everything else, and then you have Danganronpa 2x2, which releases sometime this year. Hopefully that covers everything. Links below if you want more info on this recommended order. Now that you've finished everything the series has to offer, you can wait for Danganronpa 2x2 with the rest of us. It's going to feature a new scenario, which is very exciting. If you still want more content, the creator of Danganronpa has made other new titles. Things like World's End Club, Rain Code, and 100-Line Defense Academy are good titles to check out if you enjoy Danganronpa. Danganronpa also has some art books and behind-the-scene things you can check out as well, and if that's not enough, there's also a bunch of popular fan games inspired by this series that you should look into as well. I hope this guide has helped you get a start on the series or find some new Danganronpa content to enjoy while we wait for new titles. Let me know in the comments below what series you would like to see me cover next. I was originally going to do Resident Evil before this video, but I accidentally deleted all my game footage, didn't finish the script, and I just gave up. But maybe I will bring it back. So let me know if you do want that series next, or if you want anything else. I will literally take any recommendations. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. I'm almost to 100 subs, and that would be an awesome milestone to hit. Your support means a lot to me, and I would love to make more videos for y'all. I'll be streaming the Danganronpa series on my Twitch, so please follow me there as well if you wish to see that. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye!